Hello, welcome to the Comics Panel. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about key moments in the history of Batman. All right.
Key points.
Key moments in the history of Batman.
Let's talk about his first appearance.
Well, there's absolutely the first appearance. Not only, obviously, Detective 27.
27.
But what makes Batman a little bit different than, say, some of the other... Not just his moment that he shows up in Detective Comics, but what makes him a little bit different or stand out as
The world's
from
greatest
the other
detective.
from the other characters at the time or even since.
How about his ability to strike fear in the hearts of evil men?
There you go. That's a good one.
And yours is good, yeah. Detective.
Detective, world's greatest detective. His ability to use fear and
His fighting skills.
And his constant pursuit to improve himself, his mind and his body.
Constant.
And to have better results of his actions and improve his not only his physical and mental means, but also his willpower and his ability to make good decisions, and to not question his own decisions once he's made them, that kind of stuff.
One thing that's always separated him from pretty much anybody, if you think about it in the comics, is his utility belt. He always had a gadget to get him out. But have you noticed lately, they really don't use his utility belt anymore.
No.
You know, I got a little, this
Well,
to
he
do
had
that.
it. Well, part of part of it he didn't do a whole lot.
Apps.
That's right. Yeah.
Once he started getting into the larger adventures with like Justice League and Superman and much larger things, when he wasn't just dealing with criminals in Gotham, your average criminal besides being insane, he really only needed a few things on a utility belt. But when you're in space, how many locks do you need to pick, or
But
when you
that
got
kind of
Superman
stuff.
with you.
Well,
Yeah.
it got soup.
Yeah.
But the thing is, one thing that was always in that utility belt was the ability that if he got caught unawares in any situation, that was the key. So if you're out, fighting the big baddies...
somehow he always had what he needed in his utility
Right.
belt.
For
He planned
Clayface,
ahead.
he had frozen stuff. For
Yeah.
somebody with a firepower, he had ice stuff and what have you. But still, even when you're playing against, say, people like of Darkseid, well, if you throw an ice pellet down his throat, that would help a little bit to slow him down. But they don't do those things, and I think they should. And they got away from that utility belt. And that, to me, was the thing that separated him. Because who else uses the utility belt to his extent before?
Nobody other.
Bring the
he
belt
always
back.
Used to have different tools. It was a utility belt. It wasn't just a place to hang batarangs, which
C4.
is
He carries
basically
C4.
all he really needs nowadays. I think he whips out bat cuffs every now and then, and maybe his line to swing.
Batarang and
But
his batter. The
That's
throwing
about
and his-
it. Yeah.
But it was a good, interesting, snippet, if you will, in one of the comics I was reading many years ago. He was fighting Deadshot, and somehow both of them got trapped. And Deadshot wasn't as bad as he was. He was kind of reforming, and they got trapped in something. And he had C4, and he planted it and blew it up. And Deadshot goes, "You had C4 on that belt?" He goes, "If I knew that, I would have shot at the belt." And he just looked at him and said, "No, you wouldn't have." He goes, "I know you wouldn't have." And it was so cool because he just said it with a calm that said,
Yeah.
"You wouldn't have the guts to do it. Even if you could shoot it, you wouldn't have." But to me, that has been an element that's been missing from the comics with him because he's the only one that really has had that belt to use.
He's moved away from the detective, so to speak. He's
True.
definitely been more in-your-face Batman than trying to sneak around and be mysterious and make everybody wonder, how's he do that? Does he really have powers? That kind of stuff.
But at least he's not running in the daylight in the 1960s. He's walking up the state capitol steps in the middle of the day.
That's a little bit different time
thank
period
gosh.
for Batman and for comics.
Yes, it was. So what else? What do you think is another key moment in his history that's developed?
Well, obviously the
Robins.
Robin, the teenage sidekick. That was something that I'm pretty sure that was maybe not the first time it was ever done in comics. It might have been done before that. I'm not sure, but I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
I think
what I'm
that was
saying.
the first one.
But that was absolutely the beginning of a trend.
Yes.
Once Batman had Robin, the Boy Wonder, as his teenage sidekick, everybody got a sidekick.
Cap had
Arrow.
Bucky.
Yeah,
Cap
yeah.
had Bucky.
Green Arrow.
Everybody. If you didn't have one before, you got one.
Wonder Woman had one. Superman didn't he have like the you want to call Crypto a sidekick?
Yeah, something like that. And but everybody ended up getting, and not just in DC or Marvel comics. You know, Cap with Bucky, that kind of stuff. It was really a something that happened in comics. So whether Batman was the first guy to have a teenage sidekick or not, he was definitely the guy that made the template that everybody else tried to get in on and duplicate. So he's the guy that made that big.
Agreed.
And also, too, along the lines of Robin, the decision to have Robin grow up. Dick Grayson grew up, which introduced the other Robins.
You know, he went into the Teen Titans, and then from the Teen Titans into the Titans, and then from there on to Nightwing and everything else that he's
And actually
done.
became Batman for a little bit, a couple times.
And has been Batman a couple times.
And he's been Bloodhaven's protector for a long time. He's fighting for justice
developed
there.
into his own standalone character.
Yep.
Grayson's one of the best-selling books that we have right now.
Great storyline, Grace, and that storyline with Vertigo, I believe, if it's still going, I bought those issues. Great storyline. But one Robin that I particularly love is because he's a smart aleck, and I always like the smart aleck characters. You probably couldn't guess that from me, right? Was Jason, because Jason Todd. He had the Keones to take the tires off the Batmobile.
Do you like Damien, too?
Love Damien. I really do love
I don't like Damien.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
But he had the Keones.
We'll save that for a separate episode about the Robins.
So he stole the tires off the Batmobile. He got one off, was going
That's
after
pretty
some
good,
more.
yeah.
And then I love the
And
cover.
didn't get shocked.
Right,
or
didn't get
gassed or whatever.
But I love the cover because then you have Batman's on top of the hood just looking down at him, and he's just spinning, looking around. I got to grab these tires and go. Great storyline. And then what did they do to that poor guy? They created this great character, and they knocked him off. What was it was a close vote. You can call in if you don't know about the Death in the Family issue series. It's a Ford Limited. There was a
Joker.
vote.
It's when Joker. They were unsure what to do with the Robin. I think that I think at that point in time they had gone through Dick Grayson and they had gone through Jason Todd, and they were at the point where they're thinking maybe Batman doesn't need a sidekick anymore. And of course, Dark Knight had been out before, and you had mentioned that before, that in Dark Knight Returns, which is set in the future, Batman talks about Robin getting killed. So that kind of
solidified it.
Hey, something happened, at some point. Now, they didn't know, what was how or what or whatever, but I think that definitely put something in fans' heads, and since they were on the edge about what to do, they had a call-in vote, and you, as a fan, could call in and choose whether Jason Todd should live or die as Robin. And he died.
Close.
It was about 70 so votes difference, and that's pretty darn close. And the fans decided it was time for no longer Robin, at least that Robin.
Now,
but you know
our
what's cool about
producer...
I was going to say, what's cool about that issue is that they had both issues ready to go. An issue that he lives. And I would love to get my hands on the issue that he lives. Just to have that issue.
Just to see how it went.
But, they probably destroyed
It's
them
probably
all.
just the last page where Joker beats him to death.
I'm surprised they didn't reprint that in one of the graphic novels.
Yes, give
like
you
about
bonus.
that. Just to give you, here's the bonus issue. What if he would have lived? This is the issue. Because they give the backstories with some of the different characters. That would have been cool.
That would
That'd be a great
awesome.
selling point for that book.
Listen to him, DC.
Of X-Men, they had the cover, what the cover was going to be if Jean Grey had lived.
Yeah.
Right. I remember that.
There was like the last page or whatever, and Byrne had done something really cool.
See, that would be great to put that in the graphic novel.
They should.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Just the last couple pages.
I'm sure somebody's got it somewhere.
It's probably real plain Jane too.
But still, it'd be neat to see.
It'd be a selling point because you would, if you read the books originally, or if you even have the original graphic novel, you'll be inclined to buy the second one because you want to read the story.
Yeah, because you see the last couple
as
pages.
long as it's not wrapped, I'll just go. Because I have 2 sets of the copies. Because when that came out, that was the time I'd buy 2 of the best stuff out there. So I have 2 of each issue on that series. So.
Now our producer was saying
that
Danny O'Neill in a interview on Newsrama
Death in the Family
said that there was a person that was involved with a computer get the dialing up there that would set the dial so many times, and they're wondering if he was the person
If that could have made a difference.
made the difference on the votes.
Can that be done, though, back in that day? That was 1987?
88, 89.
Dial up.
Well, 88 anyway.
Yeah, I guess you could.
It
but
could be done.
Anything could be possible. Good
Robo
hacker,
dial.
right?
It may not have been what we think as a computer, though, too.
Yeah.
I mean, there were still people that were, what do you call them? People that call up and annoy you all the time.
True.
Telemarketer. There were systems set up where machines would dial
But
for you, so it might not be a computer.
One
the
person.
article said $100 the kid possibly spent. That kid
For 100
has,
votes. So if
He
it was
really hated
within
them.
70 votes and he voted 100 times,
I just thought it was interesting.
It
Oh,
is
it is.
interesting. Yeah, if
Absolutely.
it's true or not, it's that old myth.
one of
is
those
it
things
true?
that you come
Urban
out later
legends.
on in
Urban
years.
legends.
Urban Legends of the DC Universe.
But that kid had a really strong hatred of that guy, of a character. It's like,
Yeah,
come on,
really.
get a
You
life.
just wanted to bump him off.
Take that money and buy some comics. Okay, so
After Jason Todd.
Yeah, so there was a guy who actually was the first Robin to want to be a
And
Robin.
figured out who Batman was.
And figured out.
My
Yes.
favorite, Tim Drake.
Tim Drake.
And that's why
You're
he
absolutely
was,
right.
Batman always said that he's the best one because it wasn't thrust upon him. He wanted it.
And he figured out that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounded like an echo.
Indeed.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
I don't know
know.
if you heard him say
I didn't know if anybody else heard, but
I heard.
that is one of the coolest things about that.
And another pivotal moment based off of Tim Drake. In later years, Batman makes the decision to adopt Tim Drake.
Officially adopt him.
No
That's
more
right.
awards.
Yep, no more wards.
Which is cool. And
Yeah.
then, of course, we come to Damian, son of the Batman.
Do we talk about Steph, who came before him?
We can a little bit. She was spoiler that was actually did a female Robin there for a little bit.
died.
So
A lot of Robins have that thing. You know, it seems like Batman, because he dresses them in...
goes through 'em.
I mean, well, Batman dresses in black and grays and hides in the shadow. And he puts the cannon fodder in the bright orange.
Bright orange and
so they
yellow
say,
and red.
Well, Batman's got to be summer, but let's take that one out. They always get to
Yeah.
seem, you know, it's not... So there's something smart on Batman's part.
Yeah.
You wear that bright orange reddish thing, and I'll stay over here.
So what is another great moment
Okay,
or
we'll go back to Damian.
pivotal moment in Batman?
Well, Damian. We got to bring
Yeah.
Damian.
Well, we'll
'cause
finish
that's,
off the
that's
Robins.
bloodline.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like Damian.
Because he's Batman's son?
That's right.
He's a
Batman
smart
can't
ass.
have fun?
I don't care that he's another Robin. It's just I don't think he should have been Batman's son. I don't think that's something a road that should have went down with Batman.
So
And if they did, he never should have become a Robin.
he should use the back condom.
Yeah, that's
Got his
Bat
utility
Robin.
belt and got a back condom.
Exactly. He
Yeah,
said he never uses a utility belt anymore.
It's right there. Click, click,
Damn
click.
it.
You know? Then it has bat wings on it, I take
Yeah.
it too, right? So,
Ribbed.
ribbed for her, wing for her pleasure.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, I mean, I like Damian because, you know, he's a smart aleck, and the guy who created him, Morrison? Was it Grant?
I have no idea.
He created him to kill him eventually, and when they did do it, the fan base went nuts on him. But he was like, "I created him to die." You know, he was gonna die. But he's a smart aleck, as every bit as a smart aleck Jason Todd could be. But he's a great character in my eyes, and he's. I guess in time he could wear the mantle. You know. I don't know. You
Like
know?
I just don't like that idea of doing that with a Batman character. You know.
But
And
this-
if it does have a son, you know, it shouldn't be that he has to fall into the Robin template and that kind of stuff.
If you remember when that came
You
out,
should rebel against your parents and say, "I'm never going to be a superhero. I'm going to be a super villain."
I can do
You
it.
dick, Uncle Joker.
Uncle Joker. I'm gonna go join Uncle Joker.
He makes me laugh. He's got a hand buzzer.
If you think about it, the time when Batman had a kid, that was the time for everybody having children.
Yeah.
Because in Marvel, you had
Yeah,
Wolverine.
and
had-
it's a line that's hard to go back once you've gone down it.
true, but I mean, look at what they did with Wolverine when they created X-23. That's helped because when they got rid of Logan, now they have a strong female character in the Wolverine position. They also created. I forget his name, the one that comes out, his claw comes out from under here.
His son.
The son.
His son, I can't think of his name though. You remember?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on his
So
name.
they created him. Then they had Scar for the
Dakin.
Hulk.
Dakin.
Dakin. Thank you. He
I
knows
had to
his
think
stuff.
about it for a second.
Dakin, and so that was cool. He had a son who's just as damaged as him. So you know, there's going to be in time rebellion and stuff of that nature. But then Hulk had Scar, which was cool.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's having kids, which it adds a more dynamic role because it stretches out the universe, creates drama. Drama creates conflict. Conflict creates a great story. So I like that they did all those things. you know, I mean, it's better than just saying somebody didn't exist and then creating something new. All right, they had kids, so what? You know, they have human needs. They have needs to fill. Who are you to stop the Hulk?
Nothing can stop the Hulk.
No, Hulk gets mad. He gets... No, we better not go there. All right, so, okay, that kills off the Robins, no pun intended. What else do you think is a great event in the Batman history?
Well, obviously, his Rogues Gallery. We have to mention at least a couple of the characters. Number one being the Joker.
Joker.
Had his own series.
Had his own series. Probably
9
one
issues.
of the... throughout the history of comics, he's one of the few villains that has had a spotlight. They've made Joker merchandise for a long, long time. Even when you could never find any villain merchandise, you could find a Joker merchandise.
He was the first villain to have
Throughout-
that limited series.
yeah.
Nobody else had one.
So he's, and besides being, in my opinion, probably the ultimate villain. Not so much that he's super powerful like Darkseid or anything like that, but just because he wants to murder everybody, and
Could you say
and
he's
just
wiry?
he-
He can
yeah,
get
he you know, he does, like Batman. He does things that are very unexpected that you would never think a mortal
The
person could do.
anti-Batman. The flip
But
side.
at the same time, he's totally destructive and totally insane, which means there's practically no storyline you could come up with that you would say, "Oh, the Joker would
Yeah,
never
he'd
do
never
that."
cross that line.
Yeah, there
He'll
is
cross
no
that line every time.
Yeah, the Joker is the guy that runs right over lines and things like that. So he's
Agreed.
that kind of character that you could always bring out the best in any kind of villain that goes up or hero that goes up against him, whether it's Batman or not.
Oh, he's gone up against Superman. I remember this
Oh,
one
yeah.
issue. It was really interesting because he did something with Lois Lane. He captured, but he said he put a bomb in somewhere in Metropolis, and he said it's going to go off. And he says by the time you find it, Lois Lane will be dead, or you save Lois Lane, but you're going to lose a whole bunch of people. And it came out that this is at least the first time that I read it. Superman actually explained how his X-ray vision worked. He said when there's something covered in lead, it stands out like a spotlight to him. So he quick-eyed the bomb, and he got it out of there and saved Lois Lane. He said, so by you putting it in lead, you just helped me.
You told me
Because-
where it was.
Exactly where it was. So I thought that was interesting because they never really explained in his X-ray vision how it operates with lead. Oh, I just can't see through lead. No, it's a beacon. It's a beacon, and that was a great.
Hey, that's
storyline.
something I can't see through.
Right, and that's the bomb. So and he's gone, and that's pretty. I don't want to say brave, but kind of brave. You're going against Superman.
Yeah,
you know.
really.
So Joker, the most awesome villain out there in that sense because he can just you can write any story for
He's
him.
the villain's villain.
Right. And then, I mean, I don't know who has more. I mean, Superman and Batman certainly have a good rogues gallery, and maybe even Flash if you just name them all. But, I mean, okay, so we have Catwoman, the next one, who's a great...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And she's had a series that spanned 100
series.
issues.
She's one of the first female characters that but was very popular right from the beginning, even though she was a villain. Very popular, strong female character. Automatically had that sexual tension between her and Batman,
Yep.
and they've played that up throughout the years. And she has become the anti-hero and then the hero.
Yes. I wish they would make her more so like a Justice League member. She definitely has the ability for, say, the cat thief. You know, okay, we got to get in here. The enemy's base. We need to get
She's
in here.
not
on
always
detective.
a team player.
Well, but
That's
even
that's-
Batman wasn't a team player.
Yeah.
In fact, the Justice League Unlimited or the Justice League cartoon.
Batman still doesn't like to be a
he
team
doesn't.
player, though.
But there was that one line in that cartoon where he goes, they said, Batman, you gonna join us in the Justice League? He goes, no. He goes, I'm a solo player. He goes, but if you ever need me, and you will, you know where to reach me.
Yeah.
And I always love that line because yes, I will play with you to take some of the baddies down, but I'm a solo artist. But yes, Catwoman is too. In fact, you know, if you wanted to get her, I mean, she's always been popular, but you can't have her 100 issues in a comic if she's always the villain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So make her that anti-hero like a Punisher, but bring her into some sort of fold of, even if you want to bring her into Suicide Squad or something for redemption purposes. I don't know if they have her as
Yeah.
a criminal still with the new
I would think
rebirth.
that she's still a criminal.
So, but that, to me, she's a great character. Then, see how many you can name. You got Two-Face,
You got the Riddler.
Riddler,
Oh, there's
Penguin.
tons. I mean, we could go through the
Yeah.
entire Rogues Gallery.
Ventriloquist. But there's a lot on
it's-
his side.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
big-time
for
villains.
characters and villains. Major moments, breaking of his back. This not only gave us Batman Bruce Wayne out of condition. It actually gave us someone else to take over the mantle of the Bat, Azrael, which it gave us a different look. This is someone who may physically have been comparable to Bruce Wayne, but did not have the same attitude as far as anything goes.
Yeah.
He told Bruce Wayne what he wanted to hear so he could become Batman, as far as I'm concerned. And then just kind of went out there and improved upon the bat suit and made it more of an armor and weapon system type of thing, and relied a little bit more on that than he did the other skills that Batman used, stealth and things like that.
His cunning.
So, but we got to see a different kind of Batman, which I think, even though I did not like Azrael as the Batman and definitely would want Bruce
Agreed.
Wayne all the time, it was kind of cool to see somebody else, just so you can say, yeah, I saw that. It wasn't really great.
I liked Azrael in the Smurfs. I thought he was really good there. So,
Perfect.
Yeah, he was perfect.
But
remember Azrael?
breaking of
The
his
cat?
back, and then he has to come back.
Well, how about just within that scenario? Who broke his back? That villain
Oh,
that was
yeah,
created.
Bane, yeah.
Bane. I mean, Bane took him on a mental level first by releasing everybody from Gotham. Sorry, producer. And released all the villains. So he's going nuts trying to get everybody.
Arkham and Blackgate.
Yeah, and he's going nuts trying to bring all these people in. The Mad Hatter, the Joker, Clayface, or Two-Face.
You would never
He
ever think
runs
that
them
would
all
happen to
down, and
Batman.
when he's
He comes back home and
barely gets
Mr. Pennyworth is on the ground, and he's like, "What?" And Bane grabs him,
does him in.
has him at his physical and mental
Um,
worst.
So there
Some
we get
new
to see
challenge to
Batman
him and,
finally getting
And
broken,
mortality.
literally. Which is something I think Batman needed.
Yeah.
To, hey, let him know that this could happen.
With them,
You know?
And rely on others to help, like the
Yeah.
Robins. Because I think in
Well,
that
yeah, it
series,
had. Well, yeah. and
he
then
said,
Dick-
"I got this, Dick." Right?
Yeah.
Remember that was it.
Yeah.
He was like, "I got this. Don't worry about it." You know, I
Yeah,
got them all
definitely
in.
made him realize that he had to be a team player at some point. Anyway.
and what about going off the breaking of the back? But how about when Darkseid supposedly killed Batman
Yeah.
with his eye beams?
The Omega beams.
The Mega
Teleported
beams?
him out of time. Yeah, that was neat. I bought those issues and I thought they were terrible. I really didn't like the storyline. I mean,
I just didn't think they would do that to Batman, because it's one of the big things. It just sounds like, all right, we're going to do something big. All right, let's pick Batman. But still, it's a big event that led to
Oh, yeah, it was
Dick Grayson
definitely-
taking over Batman's
Yeah.
mantle again.
True.
Again. A second
And
time
gave
for
a
that.
second dynamic there with Damian working with Bruce.
Dick,
I mean,
Dick.
with
With
Dick.
Dick.
Right?
Yep.
Yep.
yeah, that was interesting. But I mean, the Batman
I
part
wasn't-
with him gone was
yeah.
good storyline. That was the better part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like
yeah.
the idea of him
Not so
just
much as how they
disappearing in
did it.
time, but yeah.
What's that?
Not really so much how they did it, but just the fact that he was gone and someone else had to step in for a little while.
Which was good.
And we give us a little bit better.
And I remember,
Different look at
hearing
Batman.
people talking about it in the stores, like, who should be Batman? And
Well,
the
yeah.
logical thing would be Dick Grayson
Grayson, of
to do it.
course.
And then some people say,
Always.
oh, he was a horrible Batman. I thought he did a great job.
I
The
liked
writers
him
did a
as
great
Batman.
job in the story, yes.
Dick Grayson's a great character. I loved when he went to the Titans.
They,
I loved when he became
I
Batman.
liked him because they kept him Dick Grayson just in the bat suit.
Yep,
He didn't try to automatically
No.
mimic Bruce Wayne.
yep.
He was his own Batman. So that was cool.
Agreed. Did we hit all the
I
major
don't.
major
That
points?
may be some of the major things that has happened with Batman. I can't think of anything else right
him
away.
joining the Justice League,
Yeah,
maybe.
he's been in space. He's done that kind of stuff.
He formed his own teams
he's-
in the past, such as the
Outsiders.
Outsiders.
Yeah,
I mean, in all essence, as a person taking his body, his mind to the limits, it was the first character, I should say in the DC universe, but one of the great ones that now everybody, if you ever create a character like that, with the gadgets, with the intelligence, you say, oh, that's a Batman character. Superman and Batman being the first, because even Superman, if
or at
somebody
least
can fly and
or
strong,
at least the
One of the
most,
two
most
big ones, yeah.
recognized.
Exactly.
And been around the longest. Others may have come first, but they died away and have not continuously being published, or at least in the public eye.
and if they were that good, they would survive the test of time. If you're good, you're going to survive. And
Well,
nothing-
Batman is a bit of an amalgam of
Zorro,
Zorro
and,
and the Shadow,
But-
and
so they took the best of those
Yeah.
and made the best. I mean, if you look at, let's just say, even going through Marvel, and we're going to go off a little bit about Batman, but it's the idea that if you're strong and your characters are good and you can develop them well, they will survive. Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, their titles died in the late 90s when things were getting tough. Batman, Superman, still out
Yeah,
there.
it
They never
stayed, yeah.
stopped, right?
Yeah, that's
so
right.
that says something about the characters. X-Men, they stayed along as well. Spider-Man as well, but these other ones they didn't, and that goes.
And
to,
now those books aren't doing so hot, and Avengers and Thor and Iron Man are way up there.
and that's because of the movie supporting it, right?
Well, it's not only the movie; it's the industry itself getting behind those characters again and doing something with them instead of the same old thing that they were doing with them forever.
Right.
And it wasn't fresh anymore.
You got to shake it up.
Yeah.
Well, I think we killed it for Batman. I would think the next one maybe we'll talk about Wolverine.
Yeah, that's
if you
a good one.
If you have any comments for Wolverine, let us know and we could talk about them on air. But we're going to talk about Wolverine next. And we definitely killed this one. This is a good show. All right. So. If you get tired of the same old story, please turn some comic book pages. Leave any comments in the box below.
If you want to like us on Facebook.
And subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thank you.